Let's have a little update about what has happened so far. Almost immediately after upload, Section 1 of the video was banned from YouTube due to hate speech. Inmendham's Holocaust denial statements were used as a pretext to censor the information of the video. This means Efilists want this information hidden. They know what it implies and they're intentionally trying to keep it hidden from you. The video was also banned from the Antinatalist International's Discord. There is a clearly concerted effort on part of Efilists and their antinatalist allies to silence this video. But it won't be silenced. And more videos are coming. We are never going to stop. We have removed Inmendham's statements about the Holocaust in this section. Please check the links in the description for access to this information. Spread it as far as you can. Remember, Efilists are intentionally hiding this information, just as they have done so for years. Now let's get on with the show.
Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research.
Inmendham. Artist. Physicist. Website designer. Amateur pornographer. Wizard of the Wilderness. He is many things, like all of us, but he is most widely known for his creation of the philosophy of Efilism. In brief, Efilism is the belief that humanity should work towards the destruction of all life on Earth, and that such a goal is plausible and can be achieved. It is not merely a theoretical position or a fantasy. Efilists may differ in whether or not such a scenario can be achieved democratically or via fascistic methods, but Efilists generally agree that it is an attainable goal, and that activism should proceed with that goal in mind. Inmendham evidently feels quite passionate about this goal, and his passion extends to the myriad thousands of fans, admirers and devotees that haunt our world. Here is Inmendham displaying such passion.
Like Freud.
Oh, jeez, the naysayers. The other thing I wanted to run over immediately. I mean, if I had a nuclear fucking goddamn steamroller, the fuckers I want to run over the first are the fucking goddamn naysayers. I am just so sick of you counter-arguers, you counter-pointers. No, that won't. No. All you fucking goddamn do is get in the goddamn way. You try to eviscerate anybody wanting to be a goddamn good soldier. You just sit there and whip out and say, I surrender already. You can't convince anybody. You can't do this. You can't do that. Will you just fucking shut up? You fucking goddamn nitpicking, naysaying motherfuckers. There's too many of you pussy shitheads with your goddamn, oh, this fight is impossible. We're never gonna win. We can't do blah, 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 blah. You fucking wimpy shits. What good does that do? What the fuck good does it do to have soldiers in a war sitting there going, oh man, there's so many bullets, and oh man, oh, we're not going to win anything, and oh, you know, who needs that? Who needs that fucker? Shoot him first. Sorry.
As we saw, Inmendham compares his ideology to a war. Efilists also believe this, evidently. Inmendham also believes he will succeed. In the following clip, he makes clear how assured he is of his eventual victory and the victory of his ideas.
How he expects to be taken seriously is beyond me. Well, I expect it because I'm going to earn it, I'm going to fight for it, I'm going to endeavor to persevere, okay, and I'm going to knock this Tower of Babel down. I'm going to do it. I mean, the fact is, I do think I'm smarter than all of you. I do think I have the truth. I do think I can defend it to a fair 10-year-old. Okay, so all I need is a fair brain to argue with, and I'll convince them. Because I'm going to live longer than you. My words are going to be louder than yours for all of human history in the future. I'll be something. You're going to be nothing but a troll. So live with that, you dirty, ugly, smelly, lying sack of shit. Okay, I will bury you on the ash heap of asshole. You will be appropriately pissed on. okay, as one of the sacks of shit that some stupid parent abused into being a perpetrator.
With all that said, the question naturally arises whether antinatalists should have anything to do with Efilism or Efilists. In this video, we will be giving a comprehensive but succinct overview of the major problems with Inmendham and his influence on the antinatalist movement. We hope you enjoy it. For almost a decade, it has been widely known by many Efilists and their antinatalist allies that Inmendham self-identifies as a skeptic of the Holocaust. A video documenting some of these views was recently located on BitChute, but it appears that the original videos were deleted from Inmendham's channel. Nonetheless, we think these views give a good window into how Inmendham's mind works, and should be known about by all people and organizations who wish to associate with him or advocate his philosophy. In the clip we are about to play, Inmendham makes his views crystal clear on the subject of the Holocaust. Note his language carefully. Nonetheless, the world's first international antinatalist organization, Antinatalist International, puts Inmendham in their official propaganda.
A brief statement regarding my impression of the human condition. I'd argue that life is a brutal game played for no defensible reason. That there's nothing logical about creating needs that don't need to exist.
Antinatalist International appears to be composed primarily of Efilists. It would seem that the reason the organization exists is in order to spread Inmendham's philosophy, rather than promote antinatalism itself. Here is a brief clip of some of Antinatalist International's founding members confessing their fidelity to the doctrine of Inmendham.
Before we get wrapped up talking about all there is to discuss regarding ANI, I was wondering if we could just go around and introduce ourselves a little bit. Who are each of you, and perhaps just tell me a little, one or two things about yourself.
As you know, I'm an Efilist, so I call myself an Efilist, and I totally agree with this philosophy.
I am an Efilist. Ideally, if it is practically possible, I would wish that we could spread the message of Efilism everywhere.
I'm not so keen about antinatalism. Efilism is my passion. When I read about Efilism, that's it. I mean, all my life's questions are answered.
Efilism says that, life is inherently wrong, causes suffering, and should be ended. There can be two flavors of Efilism. One is that you end life through non-procreation. Other is you end life by killing.
Antinatalist International was partly founded by Old Fan of Forever Wolf films. For almost a decade or more, Old Fan has been a tireless promoter of Inmendham's philosophy of Efilism, going as far as sculpting the contours of his body and the interior of his former residence in painstaking detail. She has also written, directed, and filmed an entire movie devoted to the philosophy of Efilism. As of the time this video was made, she currently is co-host of the Exploring Antinatalism podcast with Mark Maharaj. It should be noted that Mark Maharaj at one time left the podcast due to dissatisfaction with Inmendham and Efilism, but eventually returned. Here is Amanda describing her obsession with Inmendham.
Yeah, I like Gary. I totally admit that I have an emotional attachment to Gary. I think everybody knows that, including Inmendham. I have an addicted, obsessive OCD psychology. I'm a fucking need machine, duh. And sometimes my needs take form that are problematic. I mean, my name is fucking Old Fan on the internet. It's an admission of sorts. That I have, this extreme attachment problem. It's just part of how my brain works. So I've made videos basically calling Gary one of my favorite muses of all time. I've worn my feelings very much on my sleeve. I do. I fucking love the guy. My sculpture, let's keep it real, was in part, there were many reasons why I made it, but it was in part a love letter to Inmendham. There's nobody in the world like Gary. I think he deserves, and I know deserve is a tricky word, but I'm going to go ahead and use it. I think he deserves to be loved and admired. And I mean, honestly, the world would be a much better place if everybody had a boner to be more like Gary's.